The RPG After Years is part of the We Can Make This Work Probably Network. Find out more at probablywork.com. Welcome to RPG After Years, your weekly show covering all things RPGs, past, present, and future. This is episode 47. I'm Rich.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Jay.
This is the first episode of the new year, and it's only fitting we talk about the RPGs of 2020 and what we'd like to see in 2021. Should be an exciting episode. Let's do this. But before that, let's do a little catch up. Jay, why don't you go first there, buddy?
Well, less exciting week than last time, but still pretty interesting. So I played Trails in the Sky. Again, just working my way through the story. I still have not gotten past the third chapter, also known as Chapter 2, because it starts off with like a prelogue. And man,
a prelogue? That's a new word.
What's the right
prologue.
word? Prologue?
You could have said prelude, prologue, but not prelogue.
Prelogue. Okay. Well, anyway, so it's a prologue, and yeah, that's how it starts out.
Are you still enjoying it?
Yes, I'm still enjoying it a lot. It's just a long game because I think there's 9 chapters. I'm 20 hours into it. I'm in chapter 2. I don't know if that 9 chapters is including the prologue or not. But yes, it is fun. It's got a good mix of like strategy and regular RPG mix. It's not like full bore like SRPG like Disgaea or Fire Emblem, but it's not straight up turn based like Final Fantasy V.
So can you describe how it is different then? Because I don't understand.
So it's take Final Fantasy V, but then add a grid onto it to where like to do certain moves you have to get a little bit closer. Okay. And like some attacks have like an area, but it's not like it's not active time battle, but it's definitely not SRPG. Like everybody gets a turn in like specific order. You're like you pick all your. It's I like it a whole lot.
I'll try to look up a video after this.
It's less obvious in Trails of Cold Steel because it's all 3D, and instead of there being a grid, it's just like you can move around, like choose to move around across the field, but otherwise it's all turn-based. It's kind of like turn-based with a movement aspect, I guess would be.
Sounds cool.
It is pretty fun. But yeah, I have no idea the progress I'm making there, so
any progress is good progress.
Yeah, I'm 20 hours into it, chapter 2, so we'll see.
It sounds like a long game.
Yes, I also played through the checkpoint for Nier Automata. We'll talk about that later. I played a little bit of Tales of Vesperia, not a whole lot. And then I also played a little tiny bit of Disgaea 1, which I'm playing for the Golden Years.
How is that so far?
Good enough. I didn't play a whole lot of it, so Bill's farther than me.
It's basically just like a true strategy RPG, right?
Yeah, from what I could tell, with like comedy mixed in, it does not take itself very seriously.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's from what I understand, it's like really there's a lot of comical aspects, but then there's also just Like the idea of crazy amounts of damage for really no reason. Like for the game, you can like pick people up and throw them towards other people. Jeez. And there are these the penguins that just say "dude" all the time, DOOD, and you can pick those up and throw them, and they explode. It's interesting.
Sounds like something I would like to do to people in real life.
Yes,
I should probably watch like a Let's Play or something of like the first hour to see if that's something I'm actually interested in or not.
I think you would probably like it enough. I don't know if you'd really be head over heels for it, but it'd probably be interesting enough for you to keep a hold of it.
Okay.
That's it for me. Yeah. How about you, Scott?
I too have been playing Nier Automata. Hit the checkpoint. I mentioned last week that we got really close to the checkpoint and then to put it down, so we weren't so Nierless for so long. So it was easy to make it. Been playing Life is Strange 2 with Lauren. We actually finished that yesterday. It was a very good game. I liked it a lot. The ending was pretty good, and I think overall I still like the first game better, but Corey and Lauren were saying they liked this one better than the rest of the series. So
are you wrong or are they wrong?
I was telling them that I think that they are forgetting how good like the last few hours of the first game is, but they think that overall that this one's like a stronger package throughout the first or the whole thing, which is fair. I don't know. I guess it comes down to personal taste. Both very good games though. We also played a little bit more Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're in the Peruvian jungle at pretty much towards the beginning. We got Jonah back, and there's just lots of collectibles and crypts and shit everywhere, so it's been slow progress. But I'm still enjoying that one. I'm just hoping it picks up a little bit more and doesn't kind of get dull like the other games do after the first few hours, or the other Tomb Raider reboot games. Been playing The World Ends With You still, and we also beat that. And Corey never did really come around to it. I think he could care less about it. But other than the like horrible Switch docked controls,
what's so bad about them? I keep hearing you say that they suck, especially compared to the DS. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so the DS...
I want to play The World Ends With You, and it's like, am I going to buy it for the Switch, or am I going to illegally get it for the DS?
So on the DS, it's all like touch controls, like slashing and holding and dragging and all that in the battles. And your partner character fights on the top screen with the D-pad. So you're like pressing the D-pad left and right while you do the touch shit. And it works really well. On the Switch, the graphics are crisper and cleaner, and they've got like remastered music and stuff, and a new like extra story at the end. But the controls, if you're playing in docked mode, you're using the Joy-Con to do all the motions, like with the pointer and stuff. And I just feel like it doesn't work nearly as well as it did on the DS. It's like,
so you're just like going
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
That does sound pretty bad.
I mean, it's all like wrist motions. It's not as like dramatic as you're making.
Like carpal tunnel.
It kind of does feel like it. And then a lot of times it feels like it, even when you're doing the motions right, or you think you're doing right, they don't always like register or whatever. I was able to beat the game, but I was frustrated a lot.
Is there an easy mode?
Yes. And one of my favorite features, there's even like a level slider to where like you can raise and lower your level up to, your max level. But I've heard that if you're playing it handheld, that it's fine, because I think it reverts back to more like the traditional touchscreen controls at that point. So your mileage may vary. But the story and the characters are great, and just the general vibe and everything of the game. Nice. We're still playing it. We're in the middle of that the extra mode I mentioned that's supposed to apparently be a little bit of a lead-in for the sequel. But I think we'll have that finished up shortly. And we started Resident Evil Revelations it was originally a DS game as well, but they made a console port. That's been fun so far. I like the Resident Evil games. The only thing is I'm stuck at a boss that I can't seem to beat, which is very annoying.
What part are you in on that one? I'm like
Have you put
halfway done with that game.
Oh, really? It's It's like the first big boss on the ship. It was like the communications officer who you like shoot the door down and he bursts out and he's like saying Mayday.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little rough.
It's just annoying because like you got all those mobs coming after you at the same time, and I think I missed the rifle somewhere, and I think that would help probably.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to go back and look for that because I tried like 8-9 times
I blew things up.
Yeah.
So not to bring this back to The World Ends With You, because now I'm thinking about getting it.
Okay.
I see that you can play up to 2 players. Did you ever play? Is there what's the?
Corey didn't want to, so.
Oh.
But there is a co-op
I'm always
thing.
looking for interesting games to play with Grayson, especially if it's one that can be reviewed on the podcast.
For the motion controls, I bet that would work with Gracie if I had to guess. Just because because the second player controls the co-op or the partner character, so even if she's not like bad at it or whatever, you would still be good, I think, as long as you're controlling the main character.
Considering it, because it looks good, it looks really good, and I'm looking. Because if I don't play this, me and you aren't going to be on a review except for Final Fantasy V and then Nier Automata. So like the games are like there are no like side games that I'm playing.
I have plenty of games that I can review.
Yes, I don't have any except Tales of Berseria, which is a rich thing.
Yeah, I will warn you that the game is there's no voice acting and that there's lots and lots of dialogue.
I would have to read that out loud. That does change things a little bit.
So maybe think about that. I'm hoping the sequel is fully voice acted. Like I said, it's a great story, but lots of reading. Also finished Xenoblade Chronicles Future Connected. And I don't really have much to say about it. It's just more Xenoblade, and I was happy to keep playing Xenoblade.
It didn't spoil anything for Xenoblade 2, did it?
No.
Okay.
Unless it did without me realizing it, but I don't think
because I know Xenoblade 2, the ending spoils the first one.
Oh, really? Okay. Actually, I have heard that the characters from the first one show up at some point, which is kind of weird to me, but
spoilers.
Yeah. And then finally, we also got 120 stars in Mario 64. Been getting lots of gaming done and on my vacation, which sadly ends today. I'm very sad.
Me too.
I also have to work tomorrow.
It's a depressing world. But that is it for me. What about you, Ricard?
Dang, so many games you finished there. So
I'm a champion.
I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and you better get that button ready there, Scott. I beat it. I got 100%.
Wow, we're doing good.
Yeah. Yes. Play a little. I really liked it, and I'm excited for us to review the Spider-Man series since I finished the first one the week before, and then I finished the other one. Like I said, just did it.
And the DLC.
And the DLC. So it's pretty sweet there. 100% all of it.
They're not long games, so.
No. Tales of Berseria. I got about an hour worth into that, so I'm starting to dig that one again.
How many hours did it take you, Jay?
30-ish.
All right.
I towards the end there, like the first half of the game, I was very much like, yeah, I'm gonna fight the enemies and level up and like play like normal. And then I was just like, this is dragging on a little bit too much. Like I'm not into the story that much. So I ended up just like, okay, run past those enemies, hurry up, get through this dungeon. Like the repetition got a little too much for me.
So if Rich continues to play an hour a week, you guys might get there by like June, July?
Yes. I'm going to play more than that. I'll play more today at some point. As I do like the Tales series. I just got to start playing through them.
The hardest thing with Berseria is it's not like the story's decent enough, but the individual dungeons that you have to do you have to actually like pay attention to some of them because they're puzzles and stuff. So it's like, god dang it, I can't
no puzzles.
I can't just go from A to B and be done with it. So I end up having to look at a guide for some of them because like when I'm playing games, my critical thinking is gone. Like I'm not great at it.
Jay just becomes dumb.
I do. I very much so become an idiot. It's like if I'm not getting paid to solve problems, I'm not solving problems. I'm reading somebody else's solution to a problem.
That's awesome.
Maybe one day we'll actually make significant money off this show and motivate you a little more.
I doubt it.
So if there's a rich person out there, please give us money. So
millionaires welcome. We will.
Yes.
We'll do whatever you want. Rich will do whatever you want.
Yeah, I have a price.
Yeah.
I picked up Area Fell.
How's that going?
I'm pleasantly surprised with this.
Area Fell or Arafell?
Era, maybe. I mispronounced stuff. We should know that by now.
This is true.
I really like it. 16-bit game. Ooh.
I'm probably
it's really good
going
story.
to play it.
I'm about 10 hours in. Bill said it was like 13-hour game, but I don't think so. Maybe I've been doing some quests. There's not really many quests that you have to do. The battle system's good. The leveling up system's okay. And also the upgrade stuff is pretty nice too. So
how long to beat? Has it at 12 and a quarter hours for the main story. Main and extras is about 17 and a half hours.
Okay, so
Completionist puts you at about 21 hours.
Do we know if Bill is more of like a J style player where he just wants to get through the story, or closer to me where he'll do side shit if it's not, the worst?
It depends on what he's playing, I think.
Yeah. Because I know he does side shit sometimes.
Yeah. So I like it. We'll see what happens if I beat it. Played about an hour's worth of Final Fantasy 14. I did a couple of the main story stuff, and then that was it.
Are you still in Realm Reborn, or have you gotten to Heavensward?
No, I'm in the post Heavensward.
Okay.
Post first one.
Gotcha.
So still got a ways to go. Nier, got to the checkpoint. Very proud of myself there. That was pretty nice.
We all made it.
Yay! I have some choice things to say about it. Immortals, Fynix Rising, playing that too.
How is that? I've been hearing a lot of word on the street about that.
I also just watched a quick review of it to see the gameplay and general thoughts. Looks fun. It looks like yet another Breath of the Wild ripoff, but still fun.
Yeah, it's got some comedy aspects to it. You got Zeus and Prometheus basically talking to each other the entire time as you're playing the game. They'll say stuff to help you guide yourself through the game, and they'll just say random stuff, and it's pretty funny. So
Are you sure you weren't playing Hades? Because I know that has great god characters as well.
No, I promise you it wasn't.
Okay.
But it was good. It was good. So that's all the gaming I've been playing. So
is the gameplay in Fynix whatever good?
Yeah, it's not complicated.
I'd say it's a strong week for us overall.
Yes, we got several games beaten.
And tomorrow we all go back to work, so
we have 2 games listed each.
hit the brakes.
Yeah.
Lame. Okay, so before we move on, let's do a quick check-in with the state of the podcast. All right, so let's talk about the 2021 benefits of the show and how we will bring you to the awesomeness of the RPGs. Jay, why don't you share a little bit about that with us?
So the first thing that we have is our super duper awesome cool Patreon. So with our Patreon, some of the benefits include early episode access, ad-free episodes, the Aftercast, which is a little bonus episodes that we try to do every month where we talk about less game-like stuff, more cultural or politically relevant, and we try to kind of tie it back to video games since we are a video game podcast.
When do you think we should record the next one of those?
I don't know. Soon.
I think we're going to do a part 2 of the Cyberpunk 2077 controversies, but I'm almost afraid to do it because I feel like some other major story will come out as soon as we do.
Let's see how the lawsuits go first.
There you go.
So on top of the Aftercast, there are also extra reviews that get released to Patreon only members. So usually that's Scott and Corey pumping out reviews for just side games that they're playing that maybe don't fit the criteria for the main show. We also have RPG Club nominations and voting. So everybody who listens to the show can get involved in the RPG Club, but only Patreon members can nominate and vote for games within the club.
Which will be coming up in just a few weeks, like mid-January.
Yes. Yeah, a lot sooner than I was thinking.
Yeah.
It went by fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check that out. There are more benefits than that. So you can find more at patreon.com/RPG After Years.
And if you guys haven't noticed, we are live right now on Twitch. We stream every Sunday around 9 a.m., Sundays usually. You can find the show at twitch.tv/RPG After Years. Come join us.
And that's actually true this week.
Yeah.
Yes,
Holy
we're
crap.
back to the schedule. So speaking of the RPG Club, you have until January 17th to complete the game. That includes getting ending C, D, and E in Nier Automata. So hopefully this isn't too big of a spoiler, but I had to make sure. So towards the end, you basically have to do the ending twice. You get a choice to pick between A2 or 9S. And either way, like you pick one, you get one ending. You pick the other, you get a different ending. In order to actually know the ending, you have to do both.
Yep. And I think the stuff with ending E and all that, like it starts mid-credits or something like that from what I've heard.
So ending E is the apparently like the canon ending or like the actual ending. And you have to do some stupid thing where you have to like destroy the credits. And it's apparently really, really hard.
Okay.
So if you aren't able to do it, don't feel too bad if you just go to YouTube. But we are going to talk about both
and a lot of
endings.
people I've heard make the mistake of not actually getting ending E, and then they don't like see the real ending stuff. So I made sure to put that in there.
All right. So like I said, the next club will meet on January 17th.
And in the way of announcements, I think we have decided, for at least for now, this is going to be the last time we do this segment, the save state of the podcast, regularly. We're just looking for ways to sort of streamline the show, make it to where not every episode is closing in on 2 hours. And this is just one thing that we can do. We'll still, do this section when we have announcements or maybe an occasional reminder about what's going on with our Patreon at the top. But, yeah, we're going to be playing with the format a little bit in these coming weeks, see what we can pull off. But yeah.
Yay. All right, guys. So with that done, let's go on to the news.
Hear ye, gather round for all your news. Stop your clatter and listen close. Alas, you won't believe your ears. Listen close for the news.
All right. I just love that. I love that jingle.
I feel like we're in a village.
Yes. Since the beginning of the year, there is no news stories. I didn't find any. Scott double-checked me on this one. There was no news.
The news is there is no news.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Crazy.
I think that's a first.
So
everyone's out partying. 2021, baby.
Yeah. Everybody's taking a break.
We'll just jump right into the RPG releases. You guys will be pleasantly surprised about this. There's nothing. So the RPGs released were Werewolf, The Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest, which is on the Switch.
I think we briefly talked about this last week. I was like, well, this could. We have no idea what this is.
We were concerned. I think.
I haven't looked this up yet. I kind of we'll see. So, and then the upcoming one is King Arthur Knight's Tale, which is PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, January 12th, starting early access. That's weird.
And that's it.
Yeah.
I have a news story. I finally have my PC, and it's here and working. and
I feel like we can do an entire aftercast on just your PC experience.
God, actually, that's not a bad idea. I might actually consider that.
Yeah. I know you've had a lot of trouble with that.
So I'll be doing some more gaming. I booted up A Plague's Tale and played that for like 10 minutes just to make sure the thing wasn't going to explode. So
what sucks about it is like you did everything right. You did it all right.
Yeah.
And something that is so uncommon happens, and you have to go through the trouble of replacing something that's already, for the people who don't know, like your CPU was bad.
Yep. Just a faulty CPU.
Yeah. Which is rare. But also, like, now is the time that everything for a computer is super hard to get a hold of. So you had to like go through some pains of getting that swapped out for one that works.
Yep. It was very unfortunate. But it does make me feel better that it technically wasn't my fault. So, but yeah, that's it. Maybe we'll talk about that more in the coming days as I get more experience with it. I'll start streaming in the next couple weeks, hopefully. So.
All right.
Steam link.
Steve. With all that out of the way, let's take a quick break before we get to our main discussion.
Have you ever tried eating a corned beef sandwich in zero gravity?
Are you a veteran of the Great Emu War of 1932?
Do you long for a simpler time when the world's greatest global crisis involved horse manure?
If the answer to any of these questions was no, then we have the podcast for you.
Epic Fails of History.
A podcast that delves into the most epic fails of, history.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
The only thing we have to fear is
We've had a problem here.
Epic fails of history.
Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We've got more random tales of fail coming your way, so stay tuned for more epic fails of history.
Okay, guys, short break done. Let's talk about what we saw in the 2020 for RPGs and what we hope to see in 2021 in them.
That was Everything Equals Nothing, which is a remix of Compression of Time from Final Fantasy VIII by Sephiroth. I thought, we should probably start crediting these artists to do the remixes.
Yep.
Especially at the very least in the show notes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I thought it would be fun to go ahead and take a look back at like everything that 2020 brought the RPG world. And then we'll go in and take a look forward at what we have to look forward to and what we hope happens in 2021. So I've got a list of some major releases that actually happened in 2020. Kingdom Hearts Remind. Jay, you never actually played that, right?
I refuse.
It wasn't bad. It was just expensive for what it is. And it did have some, plot continuation in there, sort of.
I'm kind of in this. Basically, I'm done with Kingdom Hearts until a new actual Kingdom Hearts game comes out, and I'm gonna have to okay, I'm about to lose a month to get myself back into it and remember.
Isn't that sort of what you did?
Remind myself.
There you go. Isn't that sort of what you did with KH3 as well? Like you just played through everything again?
Yeah, but hopefully it's not a freaking 7-year wait or however long it was.
We did have that news story a few weeks ago where Nomura said not to expect KH4 anytime soon.
Well, yeah.
So that's not on our list of 2021 hopes, I don't think.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah. The Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC came out. Corey still hasn't finished that because he's stuck on a really hard battle. But I wasn't too impressed with that. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. These are in relative order of what when they came out in the year. But did you ever actually get your hands on that, Jay?
Played a demo.
Decided,
Well, I've already so I beat the original one that was out for the Game Boy, over a decade ago. So
Yeah.
I don't have any incentive to get it at the moment.
Gotcha.
When
Trails
it's
of
on
Cold...
sale, I might get it for the chillin', but that's about it.
Maybe eventually. Trails of Cold Steel 3. Reading off these games, it feels like forever ago. Like that was 2020.
Yes.
Persona 5 Royal, which we did an extensive review on. And the Final Fantasy VII remake came out. That was a huge thing that happened this year.
We also have like 7 hours of recordings for that game.
More if you count bonus content, I think. But that was a trip for sure. The Trials of Mana remake came out. I heard that was a lot better than the Secret of Mana remake. Phantasy Star 2 Online, XCOM Chimera Squad. You guys stop me if there's one you want to talk about more. Gears Tactics, which I think was long awaited as well. And Maneater, the shark game, which, by the way, January's PS Plus games will include Maneater, so we can all get it for free.
Yes, and there's a lot of people pissed off about that.
You're just assuming I'm a PS Plus member?
Are you not?
I'm not, no.
Aw. I guess that doesn't surprise me since you don't like playing games with people. So, but I never use it for that. Like the PlayStation Plus, like free games pay for themselves. Like there's not good shit every month, but occasionally you get a month like January where you get Maneater and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I was already playing. Now I don't have to borrow Lauren's copy. So, Minecraft Dungeons. Have any of us ever really played with Minecraft at all? Okay.
No, maybe whenever I was like 15, I went through like a 2 weeks like sprint where I was like really getting into it, but
yeah.
No.
And I think Minecraft Dungeons, that's supposed to be like the story mode, right? Not sure. Elder Scrolls Online, Greymoor, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which I just finished recently. Great port, I would say. I saw some screenshots from the original version on the Wii, and I was like, holy Jesus. It looks so much better. Paper Mario, the Origami King, a game that I do want to play, just haven't gotten around to yet. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles HD came out after years of development, and it fell flat on its face. Disappointed a lot of people. Wow, another major disappointment, Marvel's Avengers. That came out. This is starting to feel more recent now. There must have been a lot of stuff. Hades.
How much money? Do we know how much money Marvel's Avengers eventually lost?
Well, they're still coming out with DLC, so I assume things are still in development. So I assume they are continuing to lose money.
So for this year, Yosuke Masuda admitted that Square Enix had to write down 11 billion yen in losses associated with Marvel's Avengers.
Jesus.
So around $105 million.
I'm sure the investors love that.
That's so much money that they lost. That's like not good. No wonder they're like, oh, sorry, Kingdom Hearts not for a long time.
Yeah. Well, you would think that would make them rush more on the games that are sure to be successful, but
yeah, like we need money now.
Were you gonna say something, Rich?
Well, I was gonna say the Marvel's Avengers. They're still pumping out stuff for that game.
Yeah, they just came out with Kate Bishop, right? It's supposed to be like Hawkeye's daughter or some shit.
Yeah.
Hades came out. That made a big splash. Like everybody knows what Hades is, and by the time it was a game nominated for Game of the Year, I was like, "What the fuck is that?" But I hear people talking about it all the time now.
My brother even was like, "Hey, you should play Hades. It's really good." I was like, "I don't even know what that is."
I just don't know. I'm not sure about that genre. The roguelites.
I don't think I've ever played a roguelike game, except maybe I don't know if you'd consider Baldur's Gate a roguelike.
I thought Pokemon Mystery Dungeon was supposed to be technically a roguelite.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's what's dungeon crawler versus roguelike. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Another surprise hit, Genshin Impact, came out shortly after that. And that was
way too good for a free game.
Yeah, I think it won Mobile Game of the Year, both on the Game Awards, and I happened to open the iPhone App Store the other day, and it was like Game of the Year. I was like, oh. So
weird.
Yeah, but that was another one I didn't have any idea what it was until there was way too many people talking about it. So, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 came out. Both editions of the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC came out, which I'm assuming we'll play at some point this year if Corey ever picks it back up. East Origin, which I think I heard both of you guys talking about just recently.
I do have it, I think.
I did too. I bought it because it was on the sale. It was on sale.
Yes.
Yeah, I think in the past couple of weeks, Jay, you mentioned you started East 1, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I played it for about 10 minutes. It's like, okay, I'm going to go back to something else. I'm going to play it eventually.
Bump and grind.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to need to be in a special mindset.
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, which was another surprise indie hit. I heard a lot of good word of mouth about that. This was weird. Nintendo translated and released the original NES Fire Emblem out of nowhere to celebrate an anniversary or something. And that was the first English release of that game.
Didn't you get the you got the collector's thing, didn't you, Rich?
Yep, I did.
Are you going to play the game?
Yeah, eventually.
Are you going to beat the game?
In 20 years, maybe.
I've heard it for an NES game, it actually stands up pretty well, which is not always the case for those old-ass games. But that is a timed exclusive, so everybody remember you need to buy that by the end of March. So, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity came out. Apparently, it's the most successful Warriors game ever sales-wise. The power of Breath of the Wild. I plan to start that. It's one of my next few games I want to play.
Sounds like a Drum of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that?
I hit my mic for the listeners. Oops. And then we got to the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series family of consoles. We got some next-gen titles: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Demon's Souls, Yakuza Like a Dragon, which was not technically next-gen, but and then they released the Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories, which I want to watch the cutscenes for, but I'm having a really hard time getting Corey to sit down. I'm like, it's only an hour. There's an hour of story. I'll sucker him into it eventually.
That's awesome.
Godfall, and then here was another not really a shocker at this point, but after 20 some years or some crazy number, Shenmue 3 actually came out. But I heard it actually was a bit of a disappointment. And then maybe the biggest thing that came out this year, other than 7 Remake, Cyberpunk 2077.
Also the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, and there were some big disappointments on this list.
I hear from what the most part, the game itself, the content and the story, pretty good.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was not baked long enough.
It's funny because I think I mentioned how the last couple of times I watched Corey play it, there were much less bugs and crashes and stuff. So it's if they had just waited a few more weeks, but I guess they just really wanted them holiday sales.
And I haven't played it in weeks. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I want to review it for the show, but I want to, I don't know, keep the oven on for a little bit longer before I take the cookies out.
Right.
I want to make sure Rich can play it and beat it. Don't want to put too much on his plate. I'm already gnawing at his ankles for Berseria and Vesperia. And
I'm thinking about once that game actually gets released on the PS5, I'll probably pick it up again and then try it out.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
But I mean, when you list all these games out like this, it's 2020 may have sucked, but it wasn't a bad year for RPGs for sure. Had some major shit come out. But then, as far as announcements we got this year, Jay, I'll let you take this section, but the ones I've bolded on this list are ones that are confirmed for 2021. Just FYI.
All right, so first up on our list is Hogwarts Legacy. So we even have an aftercast that focused on this because you say anything about Harry Potter and all of a sudden it brings up J.K. Rowling to the forefront and we all hate her anyway. So we had
She's
a
a
really good
bad lady.
episode. Yeah.
Still a
We had
philanthropist, though.
Yes. She is it's so stupid. Like some areas, not a bad person. Other areas, totally a bad person. That kind of makes me not like her altogether, even though she's like doing good things. But
Patrons can hear Jay and I's and Corey's extended thoughts on that.
yes. So that will be interesting. That's going to be a open world Harry Potter game if it doesn't get canceled, which to be completely honest, I would not doubt if it ended up getting canceled.
That would be shocking.
It's like, it's a Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never been successful adaptations like this before. So I don't know.
Maybe this will be the
expecting
first
much.
one.
Yeah, there's too much marketing for them to cancel it out right now. Like on the PlayStation Store, it's all over the place. So
We'll see. So also, next up is Scarlet Nexus. I don't remember what this is at all. As a matter of fact, I'm probably not going to remember most things.
So it looks very much like Astral Chain, which I enjoyed, just like higher quality, I guess, since it's like on, not a Nintendo system. But I think it looks cool, and Corey and I will probably play that. Maybe not right when it comes out, but eventually.
Is it a standalone game, or is it connected to something else?
I think it's a new IP, and it's
Very
very
cool.
anime, so you might like it.
I love anime.
I know.
So next up is Horizon Forbidden West. Is this a Horizon Zero Dawn related?
Yeah,
it's the
sequel.
It's a sequel to it.
Okay.
I'm excited about that. Corey loved. I think he said Horizon Zero Dawn was his favorite game from last gen. So,
I still haven't. I need to replay it because I can't remember if I got to the very close to the end, or if I actually beat it, or if I got really, really far and then said screw it and just read the ending, because I know what happens. So I either actually beat it or I looked it up, but I can't remember because I've owned the game since it came out. But
it's
I do
not
want to
that
go
long
back
if you
and play
don't
it.
do all the side shit.
Yeah, I do want to go back and play it because I remember the gameplay being incredibly good and it looking amazing.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this sequel. It's probably like my top PS5 game, other than like maybe 7 Remake Part 2 and 16. But
Yep. So another cool thing that we saw, it was just like a quick like demo dealio. It's not like a confirmed 2021, but Project Athia, which was potentially a new IP from Square Enix. It confirmed to not be Final Fantasy 16.
Yep.
Because I remember that speculation is like, oh, I bet this is actually 16. Just watch.
I need to see
watch.
more, but I'm tentatively excited about this game.
I'm excited with the fact that it's a female protagonist.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy games do have like a decent amount of female protagonists, but I always find them to not be well written. Like Lightning was kind of just a total bitch the whole time.
Take her or leave her.
Yeah,
I love Lightning, but I could see why a lot of people don't. So
she's very, very crabby.
She gets better by the end, though.
Maybe. But anyway, after that, we have Ys 9, also not confirmed. I haven't actually played through any of the Ys games, so this means nothing to me at the moment, but I know a lot of people are excited for it.
I watched a trailer, and I was surprised by how high quality it looked. I don't know what I was expecting, but when I think Ys, I always think like budget RPG.
So every time I've thought about the Ys games, I always think like, oh, this must be like similar to the Trails or the Tales or Final Fantasy. Like no, it's not quite. It's very much like hacky slash.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm pretty sure all of the games focus around one specific character. At least the majority of the games do.
Yeah.
It's like that's interesting.
That is cool.
I don't think I have played a game where there's 20 of them where it's all involving like the same character.
Especially such a long running series like that.
Yeah, definitely. So after that, we have The World Ends With You anime.
I'm excited about that. It looks like pretty quality animation, and it's just an adaptation of the actual game's story.
I hope it does well with the adaptation because there are other So Tales of the Abyss has an anime adaptation. Tales of Zestria has an anime adaptation. Trails
I think Persona
in the Sky
5 does as well.
Yeah, Persona 5, Trails in the Sky has like a couple episode adaptation. But I've heard that they change things in order for shortcuts and stuff, and that bothers me heavily. So
Yeah.
hopefully
I know how you
happen.
feel about canon.
Yes, I hold canon very close to my heart.
If they do a dub of this, which I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, I will be watching it.
You should do the sub too. Sub's pretty good.
Okay. I have a hard time with languages that are not my own, and unless it's like really artsy, like Pan's Labyrinth or something like that. But
That's understandable. So next up is Shin Megami Tensei 5.
I know there are a lot of people out there that are excited about that one. I just have no experience with it, so.
What? I'm a little confused. What's the correlation between Shin Megami Tensei and Persona?
Persona originally started out as a Shin Megami Tensei spinoff. Apparently, the whole like high school, like real life parts of Persona and all the friendship components and all that's like a Persona thing. But the battle systems are similar, from what I understand.
Interesting.
But they don't call the Persona games Shin Megami Tensei anymore. They dropped that from the title. So maybe I guess Persona was probably more successful than SMT ever was. So they were like, let's make Persona its own thing. Bring more attention to that.
Yeah, it is pretty confusing because we have a Shin Megami Tensei channel in our Discord, and everybody just talks about Persona mostly.
Right.
And I'm just like, is this because in Japan the Legend of Heroes like trail games that's not what they're called. So they have a different name in Japan. I'm actually going to look it up right now. Japanese name, because it is different. It is the Kaseki games.
Oh, did not know that.
So like Trails in the Sky is called Sora no Kaseki.
Interesting. So it's like all a marketing thing just to get people to buy it based on the name.
And probably also, marketing on top of finding ways to translate Japanese into English isn't like a Sora in Japanese is sky.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
It's probably just a crazy way to dub it. So I was like, maybe Shin Megami Tensei is just the Japanese way of saying persona, like whatever the word persona means.
Yeah.
But no. But I digress. Next up, we have the Uden Chronicle. That was also announced.
People are excited about.
I can't remember this game either.
It's the Kickstarter game. That's like a.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we had an episode about it.
I still forgot it.
But I don't think that's coming out in 2021. Well, it's listed here as potential 2021, but I would be surprised.
Our Kickstarter says estimated October 2022.
Oh, well then.
So it's a while.
I shouldn't have put that there then. But it was announced. Oh, wait. No, this is a list of things that were announced. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the bold are...
Yeah.
Listeners can't see that, but
yeah.
Some are bold, some are not. So next up, we have Monster Hunter Rise, which is going to be a Switch game for Monster Hunter. I'm pretty excited about that. I have a really bad habit of buying Monster Hunter games, like really diving into them, loving them, and then just quitting them cold turkey. Like that's what I did with the last Monster Hunter game.
Man, I remember when you were playing that one. That was like early in our mutual friendships.
Yes. It really was. What was that? 2018?
Maybe.
I think it's.
I don't know.
So.
End of 2017, maybe. Good times. Then we have Monster Hunter Stories 2, which is a spin-off of Monster Hunter that's actually like story-driven instead of like hack and slash. And it's a little disturbing for me because Monster Hunter Stories, I'm pretty sure you're friends with like a Rathalos or like you're friends with a monster. And then these other Monster Hunter games, you're just like gutting them and killing all the adults and like using their corpses as armor and weapons to then go slay some more. It's like, oh, that's
why they have a more cartoony art style.
Yeah. Yeah. We also have Bravely Default 2 to look forward to, which I have heard is not connected to Bravely Default. So there's Bravely Default and then Bravely Second, which are connected, and then Bravely Default 2, which is standalone.
Which is funny because I think what people really want is Bravely Third. But
yeah.
And I think that's actually coming out here in like the next couple months. So
it comes out in February, and I've got it pre-ordered, ready to go.
Yeah. I will certainly play it and get it because I really want to play the other Bravely games, but it's like, nobody else is gonna play it. I'm not gonna play it.
I think I saw in the Discord, I think it was Frost that said the Bravely Default 2 is what made him finally break down and get a Switch. And I'm just really, of all things, but okay.
Come on, Frost. You got other games like what, Scott?
Pokemon.
Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey. I've got a book of Switch games. I've got like 30 of them or some shit. There's lots of good shit.
So I broke down and got the Switch. What did I buy the Switch for? I don't think there was anything specific. Maybe Octopath Traveler was like one of the first games that I got, and I never beat it. I still don't feel like there's anything exclusive on the Switch that I would buy a Switch for.
Well, it's different strokes for different folks. I love my Switch.
Next up, Final Fantasy 16. Speaking of reasons to buy a console, that's probably going to be a PS5 game.
Yeah.
It's just an announcement, no release time for it yet, but I'm excited for it.
And based on our speculation, we actually think that might or will probably come out in 16 or 2022, 2021 this year. Can't do my numbers today.
Hopefully holiday season 2021 when the world's back to normal.
Yeah.
And we do have a whole episode about that, so check that out. Next up, we have the Nier Replicant Remaster, which I am very excited for, especially since we have Nier Automata as our RPG club game. And there are a lot of subtle hints about Nier Replicant. And I also have know some of the lore behind Nier Replicant because I was interested. Like I wanted a reason to actually get this game.
Yeah.
And I know enough to where I'm like really, really excited to play this one.
Yeah, and I think that's also in the next month or two. So let's just finish Nier Automata and make Replicant the next RPG club game. Just overrule voting and all that.
Sorry, guys. April of 2021, I think.
Oh, okay. So we still got a while.
Yep, springtime. Next up, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I think that's just a bundling of all of the games together.
I will be picking that up because I'm really interested in trying to get into the Mass Effect series.
I will likely get them as well since they'll be on Steam.
Yeah.
Mass Effect 4 was also announced. I don't remember seeing much about it, but I'm pretty sure the announcement trailer was really, really small, very vague. Nothing.
I think so.
Nothing too crazy.
It was literally I think Liara standing at a window in space, and she turns towards the camera. It's like, Mass Effect is coming.
So that'll be very fun. Hopefully, Andromeda was not very fun. So the only one I played is Mass Effect 2, and I had a great time with it. And then I have Andromeda for the PlayStation 4, and it sucks. It's so boring. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. So next up is Saga Frontier Remastered. I know Rich is excited about that.
I'd rather die.
And then we have Neo, The World Ends With You. I don't know what that is. What is that, Scott?
It's the sequel, the long-awaited sequel, and I'm very excited about that.
It's for the Switch, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I'm hoping it has voice acting, because I think that's going to be the only way I can convince Corey to play another one of those games. So
hopefully they don't just port the controls from the first one.
I think since it's a brand new game, hopefully it'll be, much more in line with what you'd expect in modern times.
Hopefully. So after that, we have Persona 5 Strikers announced.
Corey's really excited about that one because he loved Persona 5 so much. It's basically a Warriors game with the Persona 5 cast, and it's an actual sequel. It's canon. So.
Oh, interesting. I know a lot of people were going crazy about that Zelda, the Hyrule Warriors, and I played a demo of it, and it was it was like me as Link, like demolishing like hordes and hordes of like those Goblikin monster dealios, and I was like, this is kind of fun, but does not feel very contentful.
Are you talking about the new one, Age of Calamity?
Yeah,
it's like Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't like the Warrior Styles games myself, but I will play that just since it's like, a canon story eventually. And Corey, I think Breath of the Wild is Corey's favorite game ever. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, and so last up on the list, Disgaea RPG. And I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, I've already forgotten what that is, and we just talked about it last week, I think.
Don't do drugs, kids.
I wish.
This is like, I'm pretty sure it brings a lot of the past characters. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's bringing a lot of the past characters.
Oh yeah, I remember talking about that now.
Very interesting. I don't know. I'm excited to play the Disgaea games. Every time I see the artwork of a Disgaea game, it's like cartoony and cute. I'm just like, I really want to play this.
Yeah, but I think that's it for the all the major announcements. I'm sure there's stuff we missed somewhere, but I was just picking out things that I was like, I vaguely know what that is. So you want to move on to our next little section here, Rich?
Yeah. So we'll talk about a little bit of the other major stuff that came out and go from there. We'll kind of hit the highlights. So obviously the PS5 and Xbox Series came out with a big debacle that was. Hopefully you all were able to get some. If not,
I
sorry.
think people that really want them are starting to get their hands on them, but it's still like a major shortage.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can get some. Don't pay above retail for them, obviously. Don't do that.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get some like games that are actually made for those systems, because I've liked the systems so far, but nothing yet has felt truly next gen yet, in my opinion. So,
correct.
Well, hopefully that feeling is tickled or scratched or whatever's your preference, Scott.
By the PC.
Or just whenever they start releasing PS5 games, because I was also like really expecting people to be like, oh wow, this is amazing and crazy, but I haven't really heard anything.
I mean, I will say Spider-Man looks damn good, but like it also came out on the PS4, so all these games that we're getting are like multi-platform at this point. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Microsoft purchases Bethesda.
That was a huge story.
We'll see what happens.
We've yet to see like what that really means for Bethesda games, but I'm hopeful that they won't be exclusive or any of that shit.
And then Sephiroth in Smash.
Yep, and I talked about that. I thought he was really a really good addition to the game. But that was like all the major shit I could find outside of like game announcements that fell outside of it being an actual video game. I couldn't really think of anything else.
This is a kind of a hard year for game developers, just like everybody else, really. Yeah. Like they all the majority of them had to go to like a remote style setting, which is, if a company is not used to that, it is very, very hard, especially if you're so used to having like a company like local network that's like well protected, and they got to switch everything to a VPN and make sure everybody has access to it. It's like an IT guy's nightmare.
Yeah.
Hopefully they were all able to adapt well enough, but
that does remind me. I read I don't even think we talked about this on the show, but I think I read a story recently where Square Enix was going like 90% permanent remote or like optional or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, they did.
Yes, that was another like surprise thing. Good guy Square Enix for once.
They need to save that money, from the Marvel Avenger debacle.
Yeah. And then I made a list here of what we know is coming in 2021, and it's a lot of the stuff we've already mentioned, so I'll just let Rich speed read through those.
Altair Ryza 2, Yakuza Remaster Collection, Yeast 9, Neo and Neo 2 Remastered, so that's a collection, Persona 5 Strikers, Bravely Default 2, Nier Replicant, Remaster, Digimon Survive, Disgaea 6, Disgaea RPG, Hogwarts Legacy, Horizon Forbidden West, Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Neo, The World Ends With You, Saga the Saga Frontier Remastered. Blah.
He tripped up on it because he
Go faster. Go faster.
Scarlet Nexus. Just say this one, Scott.
Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster.
And the next one.
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Boom. All right.
So those are just the things that we like are confirmed 2021 releases. So, and I'm sure there will be more announced. So I think 2021 might be a pretty good year for
Hopefully.
RPGs. Yeah.
What might come out in 2021 is Elden Ring. That's the one that's made by George R.R. Martin storyline, I think.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 16. Only hope.
Fingers
hopeful.
crossed.
We need it. Pillars of Eternity 2, Sports Story, and Tales of Arise. I'm looking forward to that one.
So excited for Tales of Arise. So excited.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been hearing about it forever.
Yeah,
so
I have.
well, I was because it was supposed to come out this year actually, but the issues with COVID basically halted production on it, and they're from what I understand, this last quarter they're just now starting to get back into their groove. But who wants to make a bet on how much incest is in Elden Ring based on George R.R. Martin's involvement?
Probably
There
a
will
lot.
be
There's
one incest.
One unit of incest within Elden Ring.
There will also be a few penises.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, what's not on this one, I'm really hopeful that it does come out, is Final Fantasy VII Part 2.
I don't think we're going to get that.
I know, but would it be a shocker? Maybe some news announcements about it.
Yeah.
I can get down with that. Some
It
news.
depends on how the things with 16 pans out, because I don't think they're going to want to take too much attention away from that. But I'm hopeful. I would love to see more.
They lost $106 million. I think they need to be doing something.
Like I said,
So-
that's the hope, is that it will force them to come out with their heavy hitters.
It's like, oh man, every penny we made off of this Final Fantasy VII remake immediately was lost because of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Some people got fired. So with that, we have a couple reviews that we did for the RPG After Years. We had Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Astral Chains, Alundra, Grandia 2, God of War 2018, and Wild Arms.
And not 2020, but 2020. Yeah, not 2020, but soon we'll have Nier Automata. Rich and I are going to review the Spider-Man games. I've got like a backlog of games I need to review. So I'm hopeful that our list will be a little longer in 2020.
I feel like we did more reviews than this, but
it's hard for me to say because I did so many for the bonus Patreon reviews.
Gotcha.
So-
Okay. That makes sense.
But I think those were all the main show ones.
It's been a rough year for us to be in sync with what games we're playing. I think that's part of the reason we're like, okay, let's do this RPG club. We need something to keep us all playing the same game.
To force us, yeah. It's been a good thing.
Yes.
But that's all the stuff that like happened in 2020 and what we're hoping for in 2021 as far as releases go. But I think Rich had some thoughts. You had some thoughts on just general things you're hoping to see in the future.
I guess so. Some general things in 2020. We saw a lot of open world games being released. A lot of questing, fishing, and photo mode. I'm really hopeful in 2021 that we don't have that extra crap. Just story-driven games with a little bit of side stuff. I don't mind a little bit of that, but I'm tired of photo mode. I really hate that.
I never use it myself, but I'm interested on why you have such a beef with it.
Because it's not a part of the game.
I never use it either. I mean, I understand that some people like it because they have entire Instagrams and stuff driven by games, but I feel like so much time is put into a photo mode. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but
I feel like it's almost like an expected feature these days. Like people, what? No photo mode?
That's stupid. And same with fishing. I'm tired of fishing.
I'm with you on the fishing. It's in like every fucking game that Japan makes.
Have you done any fishing in Nier? It's so stupid. You just throw your robot out and then you reel back in your robot.
It's like the game was going through QA and like some manager was like, "Where's the fishing?"
Yeah, stop
so they
doing
threw
that,
it in.
people.
No more. But you can get a pod from fishing in the Flooded City, though, which I did. So that's like the one time it's useful.
Didn't know that. Didn't care.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I mean, so much, like Jay said, probably the extra time and effort goes into making a photo mode, that type of integration to it. Just stop, make the game.
Yeah,
do some cool stuff with weapons and skills and things.
With Trails in the Sky, I've had to go fishing one time, but it was part of like the story. And you go fishing, you get a fish, you go show them, and then the story continues. It's like, okay, this fishing, cool with, but like, I don't want to do much else.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rich, I don't think any of these things are going away anytime soon. So
no,
I'm okay. I'm okay with open world or like semi-open world as long as there's a story that can at least be on rails. Like Skyrim open world, I'm totally over. For the most part, like The Witcher open world, I'm kind of okay with, but I'm thinking maybe Cyberpunk might be a little too open as well.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is. It is huge very large. And
that's what she said.
The Tales games and the Trails games and most Final Fantasy games are kind of where I've found my or like Nier.
Yeah.
Nier is a good example. That's where I found my happy space. Like there can be some adventuring and walking around, but for the most part, if I just wanted to go on rails, I can.
I think a little later, Frost had a thought for us about Nier's world, so we'll talk about that a little more. But as far as like things that I am hopeful for in general for 2021, I would like to do. We got to be careful because it's gonna be easy to turn this into just a list of pet peeves again for RPGs. I want to go away from lore-based storytelling, where like you have to read a bunch of shit or like delve into Google to really figure out what's going on. I've seen too much of that, and I hate that style of storytelling. I know some people love it, but
I like that. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna second that. I think that's probably also another reason why I'm liking the Trails in the Sky, because it's just. There's really not a whole lot of lore. There's like a history of like the country that you're in that you like slowly pick up through the story and they tell you about it. But other than that, it's like, okay, I'm in this like normal world. I don't have to go digging in lore about the 3 ancient gods of yesteryear who are like secretly getting their revenge.
Give me cutscenes. I need to have the story explained to me. Like direct drip feed. So
one thing that I would like to see is the games that do come out. Like I would like the main story to like semi be on rails like we talked about, but I'd like them to be longer than like 10 hours. A lot of open world games, it's like we have a ton of content, come and play. You have 120 hours of content, but it's like, yeah, but 10 hours is the actual story. The rest is like side quests and fetch quests and like the Skyrim main storylines, like 10 hours. I'm pretty sure I could blow through the Cyberpunk story in like 12 hours, if even.
So just less bloat in general.
Yeah, I want a good story. And at the same time, I'm at a weird space to where I don't really want to shape my character anymore. Like I don't want to pick if I'm a good guy or a bad guy by the choices I make. It's like, tell me a story where it's like, this is a good guy against the evil, or like this is a character who, rides the gray line.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I like about Trails of Vesperia is that the main character, it's a really good protagonist. One thing I don't like about Tales of Zestria is that it's like the main character is like cheesy good, like too good.
Yeah. I do like how in Cyberpunk that even though you create your character, there's still like an actual character. I think I mentioned in our pet peeve episode that I'm running my 2020 campaign on ending silent protagonists, and that will continue into 2021. I'm tired of it. No more.
Yeah, that's one thing I was pleasantly surprised about. Like no matter how you make yourself look or what choices you make, your Cyberpunk character is still V, and V is who V is. And you're being told the same story no matter what. Like some nuances change with how your decisions change, but it's still like CD Projekt Red has a story to tell, and you're gonna hear it.
Yeah. Oh, that just talking about silent protagonists. I'm gonna eat my foot, but one thing I'm hoping for that I forgot to mention is just some more like news about Breath of the Wild 2. It's been so long. It's been over a year since that announcement trailer, and we've heard nothing. So
why is Link silent? Is there even a reason?
He has no voice.
The original reason was the standard silent protagonist explanation, as far as like you are Link, or they want him to be your avatar. But it's stupid because he, as the games have gone on, he's not become like a well-defined character, but like he has enough like characteristics to himself that it's like, just give him a voice. And other people think that would be sacrilege, but I would love a voice to Link, especially now that the Zelda games are voice acted. So
I wonder if he's just stupid.
Probably.
He always has some sort of device or something floating around telling him what to do.
Yeah. There's been a couple of Links that were kind of portrayed that way as just being like the village idiot kind of. But
yeah. You're going around kicking chickens. What are you doing?
Yeah. Any more 2021 hopes, Phyllis?
Nope.
Last one is complete the game before you release it.
Yes.
The best you can.
Yeah, after the Cyberpunk debacle, I'm hopeful that maybe game devs will take a little bit more care.
And quite frankly, Kingdom Hearts, it's a lot of things that Square Enix have put out in the past, like finish it, not retroactively finish it. Don't release DLC that starts packing on more story that you couldn't fit in because you screwed up your development time.
I feel like Kingdom Hearts 3 and FF7 Remake were good in that regard, but 15 was horrible.
Remind.
Yeah, but that's like just continuing the story. Like KH3 itself was a complete package, I thought.
I thought Remind like started adding in sprinkles of like, this is also what happened. This is also what happened in the main game.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we want to move on to we got some feedback from the listeners on this subject.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Good job getting that, Rich.
I did. All right. So Chrono Trigger remake. This is from Rob. So he wants a Chrono Trigger remake, remaster, or a third-party entry in the system or in the series, the same as the 11th year. Final
The hope will never die. Keep the hope alive. We're never getting
right.
anything Chrono, guys.
It's not. FF7 Remake 2 would be nice as long as it's not a 5 years off release date. That'd be nice. And then Terror Squirrel.
Who is Soda by Bread. He changed his name for reasons I'm afraid to ask about.
You just say this one for me.
Uden
Chronicle demo.
You gotta say it like Street Fighter. Uden.
I wouldn't be surprised if we got some kind of demo or something for the game.
With it being coming up next year, I would probably think it'd be sometime in the winter of next year that you might get some kind of
a
demo.
year off.
Yeah.
October of 2022. We probably wouldn't get a demo until mid 2022.
Yeah.
Okay.
Womp womp. Abrac says he also hopes we get a sick announcement trailer and a release date for FF7R2. He's hoping for FF16 release this holiday, as are we all. He says, I know it's probably 22, but let me hope. Bravely Default 2 is good. Persona 6 is announced, along with a Persona 3 Remastered / Ultimate Edition for PS5 / Switch to celebrate Persona's 25th anniversary. I'm not expecting a Persona 6 myself, but this other stuff he's listed would be cool. It's just Atlas is so weird with their Persona announcements, so you never know what they're going to do. He says, might as well get a Xenoblade Chronicles X port on Switch and reveal the next Monolith Soft game as well. Yeah, that would be cool. Xenoblade Chronicles X is one of the big Wii U games that we still don't have. There's only like a few of those left that didn't make it to the Switch. So that's some good hopes there.
So Kaboski also mentions a Final Fantasy 16 release date, and then also the announcement of Dragon Quest 12 and a new Fire Emblem game.
I could see those things happening. It's kind of like a pie in the sky type deal, but like it feels like it's getting close to the correct time for that stuff. Metal Matt J says Xenoblade Chronicles export as well to Switch, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3 announcement. That would be cool. Metal Matt Xeno Reborn would be cool. I don't know what that... Metal Max Xeno Reborn would be cool. I don't know what that is. Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 to Switch, or Trails to the Sky to PS4, PS5 Switch. I'm sure Jay would also be happy about that. Some more info on the Grand Blue Fantasy Action RPG, and my pie in the sky would be a full Arknights game for console. I'm not familiar with Arknights. Adam Davis says, I'm going back to my RPG roots and playing some classics. I'm excited to dig back into these older games again and see how they hold up. And then I replied to him, I was like, oh, like what? And then his answer didn't make any sense to me. So, but yeah.
So, Colin wants the Xenogears or Xenosaga ported in combined package, or at least a trilogy together with Gears as a $9.99 standalone. I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, that sounds like very high wishful thinking.
Yeah. Dragon Force 1 with Never Before Seen, Dragon Force 2 also coming west. I don't really know about those. You know about those two games?
Nope.
I do support this one for sure. Breath of Fire 3 and or 4 remake.
That would be cool. I played Breath of Fire 3 briefly when it was on the PS1 and I was a kid. I remember liking it, but I never bought it or finished it or anything.
That game is awesome.
Yeah.
Frost says Final Fantasy 13 for PS5. Okay.
I could see that happening.
For Switch
is better.
Switch.
Yeah, just give us some way to play. I know it's on Game Pass, but give us like a modern way to play those games. That would be awesome.
Play it on PC, Steam Link.
There you go. Actually, I might do that because I heard it actually looks a lot better on PC. And Corey's really wanting Lauren to play FF13, so might come up soon.
Yep, I might have to get one of those clips Jay has for his phone, so you can play it on that.
It's good. It's so good. And
I'm gonna need you to send me a link of that. How you got that clip? Is it Amazon?
I just Googled Amazon PS4 controller phone clip.
I got
the one that was. I got the one that was like $10, and it came in a pack of 2, and I didn't know it, so I have 2.
There you go.
Oh, I just remembered we have a tea time. So before we go on to the RPG club, shall we see what our old compatriot had to say?
No.
I guess.
And now, it's time we join an old friend once again. It's tea time with Bill. Hello, dear listeners, and welcome to another Tea Time with Bill Mondo. Yes, that is me. I am the Bill, and I am the Mondo. So, congratulations, and welcome to 2021. Yes, everybody, we have finally made it. You know, the guy's Secret Santa gifts may not have arrived yet, but the new year certainly has. So, yeah, I just hope you all had a happy new year in your own special lockdown ways, and look forward to a rather happier 2021 than maybe you had in 2020. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. Rich wants me to talk about something. What do you want me to talk about, Rich? No, not the size of your penis. I'm going to talk about what to expect from RPGs in 2021. Now,
it's huge.
Again, I am probably the worst person you could ask that question to, due to the fact I don't really play any sort of new modern RPGs. So, I guess the biggest hope for RPGs this year would be a Final Fantasy 16 release, which I feel like is a very, very big ask. But given Yo Sheep is in charge of the project, it could very well happen, people. It could very well happen. Yo Sheep is a bit of a legend for turning things around and turning them around quickly.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, other than that, I don't really have much hopes or dreams of anything, to be honest with you, gaming-wise, RPGs, because I am stuck in the torrid times of 1991. So, what do I want to do for 2021 as far as RPG goes? I have a lot of like little mini side projects I want to get out, but mainly it's getting through some of the games on the list. So, there are some games on the list to be really excited about that are coming up. So we're currently playing Disgaea Hour of Darkness, or Afternoon of Darkness, or Disgaea 1. Every port has a different name, but yeah, it's the same game, which looks interesting. It's an anime SRPG. So I've already played a little bit of it, which looks good. So, I'll see how I get on with the rest of that. And then next up we have Live. And I am so excited for this game.
I'll join in for that
I
one.
hear amazing things about how this game is like
possibly one of the best SNES RPGs that we did not get here in the UK. And America, everywhere else in the world, but there is fan translation, and I am extremely excited to play through that game. It has several different story modes with different characters. The combat looks very, very interesting. I saw Angry Ass Black Dude on Twitter playing through this recently. I think he plays it every year, and he said this is the best JRPG you've never played. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And then after that is Metal Max Returns. Again, a very interesting game. I currently hold the third place speed running record for it, for the bad ending. So I've never played the game in its entirety, so I'm looking forward to playing that. Then we got Shining in the Darkness. Yeah, Deesa's going to love that one. Don't know if anyone else is. And then Legend of Dragoon, Warsong, which is a Switch remake. I can't remember the name of it. I know Rich owns the remade version on the Switch, but it's got a different name. It's not called Warsong. It's like something else. We've then got Laplace's Demon, or Laplace Nomar, The Sword of Hope, Legend of the Gaia, Parasite Eve, Fantasy Star 3, Chrono Trigger. There's just so many good games on the horizon.
We'll get to two of
Legend
those
of the
this year, maybe.
and Legend of the Gaia, quite chunky monkeys, so they might take a little while, but the other ones are all supposed to be fairly short romps. So hopefully this will be the year that we can actually bash out a good few games on the list. The 1991 season is a long season, guys. It's a long season. There is a lot to do. And I'm currently winging it mostly solo. So, Jay, I'm so glad you're joining me for this guy. I really need some love. But yeah, there's a lot. As far as Golden Years is concerned, I think there's a lot to look forward to this year, assuming I can actually play and complete the games. So, yeah, if you want to play along, always happy to have people play along. But if you were ever going to wait for a random game that you wanted to play along with Live Alive. Scott, Jay, Rich, I think you guys should play Alive Alive.
I plan to.
Just pick one character and go through one storyline. I think there's 7 of them or something. But it's not like, don't worry, Rich, it's not like Saga Frontier. It's not like that. It's supposed to be a fairly short game, but I would love you guys to play it, and then we can all get together and review it together like a big family. We can all have a big hug and talk about it and be really nice to each other. But yes, that's it really. I don't think I have much else to look forward to in RPGs from 2001 because, I don't really play them. I'm sure there's going to be loads of great games. I'm sure there'll be something new to the Persona series. There always is. Shouldn't be Game Tensei. But yeah, lots and lots to look forward to, and lots of love to you all. This has been Bill. This has been Tea Time, and I'm going to hand you back over to the guys. Bye.
I think it was Bill recorded that shortly before I informed him that the patrons will soon be due for some more hastes. So who knows what's actually going to get played.
He was a little disappointed with that.
Yeah. Is there a modern way to play Live Alive?
I think you have to emulate it because it's a fan translation that we'll be playing. So, but what you gonna do? Oh, Bill has actually just joined us in the chat. We just finished playing your Tea Time, dude. So, yeah, actually, I think Disa and Frost and Generic Fighter will be getting some haste soon. So, look forward to that. See how the list changes. But are we ready to move on to the RPG Club, fellas?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. Quiet down. All rise. We're here today to bring to order the next session of the RPG Club. All in favor? All opposed? And looks like the ayes have it. Then let the RPG Club commence!
Alrighty, so the goal this time was to complete the mission called Pascal's Despair in Route C, and oh, how despairful it was. Guys, there was a lot of significant story developments in this section, like way more than any of the other sections so far, I would say. So just a brief overview. We had playing as 2B with the whole like going guerrilla stuff with the other Yorha members, and then apparently a virus spreads all over the place and the whole bunker gets blown up, and along with the Yorha commander. 2B flies down to space. She's infected with or flies back down to Earth. She's infected with the virus too. And one thing leads to another, and she basically has A2 kill her before she goes like fully rampant. Of course, 9S witnesses this and thinks, A2 is the bad guy. And then the rest of the route is playing as A2 as she learns to accept the machines, I guess, because she does hate them, but then she learns that maybe they're not all bad. And then, of course, the machines in Pascal's village go haywire and destroy each other. Pascal tries to evacuate the children, defends them from a bunch of machines. Of course, the children end up killing themselves, which makes Pascal want his memory erased. You have to choose whether to do that or not, or to kill him, or to just leave him. But that's where this section ended. Like some tragic developments, the death of 2B, the more or less death of Pascal. So, what'd you guys think?
I thought it was really good.
Yeah. What about you, Rich?
Okay. It was okay.
Just okay?
It was okay. I don't know. I like the game, but I don't like the game. But we'll talk about the actual full review of it. There is a secret ending, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew that.
There's secret endings like everywhere. Like I feel
A
like
through Z. There's 26 endings.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got the one where I accidentally I didn't make it to the place where you meet A2 as 2B. And I basically just was now wandering through the world as an empty shell, is what it said.
Yeah. A lot of the endings are just like leave the area when it wouldn't make sense story-wise for the character too. Which is, it's kind of annoying because I feel like it happens all the time. And if you're a completionist like me, it's better to get the endings as you get to them. But then it like breaks the pacing a little bit. But that's like kind of a minor complaint, I guess.
There's also an ending if you choose to destroy Pascal instead of not.
Oh, really? I knew there was one for when you killed if you like attacked the children for whatever reason. But
just killed children, like in Star Wars kind of thing.
So what'd you guys do with Pascal?
I let him live.
I walked away.
I erased his memories.
I erased his memories too.
I just walked away.
Why did you choose to do that?
Because of our Discord channel convincing me.
Yeah, I think Kai made some kind of statement about how that makes the most sense with the themes of the story, about how the machines are in like a cycle of violence that they can't escape.
So I'm going to tell you guys something. I need you to not look down on me.
Okay.
I'm look down on you.
I completely finished the game.
Oh. You couldn't stop, huh?
I could not handle it. I got to the ending, and then I was like, all I want to do is finish this. And then Gracie, like, that's all she wanted to do, and she convinced me, and I finished it. And now I'm excited.
Looking down on you a little bit. You're a host of this show. At least you guys should follow the rules. A lot of people that were playing along went ahead and finished it, though. So you're not alone in that.
Because it's not a whole lot of gameplay left, and it's very easy to just get through it.
Yeah. I've heard this last little part is short, so.
But also, I'm so excited. So excited
to talk about it. Yeah.
For the whole review. This section I thought was really good. The one thing that I hope people that we didn't really notice is that right at the beginning of this section, you can choose either 9S or A2. The only way you could have played this section in the way that we played is if you just picked A2 every single time it gave you the chance.
Yeah. I didn't know that there was going to be another point halfway in that it makes you choose again, but
yeah, I didn't either. I was fully expecting, like, once I finish this Pascal stuff, I would just finish the game as A2. But no, it's gonna make you go pick 9S.
Yeah. I erased Pascal's memories because the guide I was reading said he opens a shop later if you do that. But Kai told me that it's apparently not anything to write home about. How did like just the Pascal death stuff land for you guys?
So philosophically, I think it's very, very interesting because it's like, I think it has a lot of implications on like human psychology as well. Like you teach the robots to fear and they end up killing themselves from that fear. It's kind of the whole like, I feel like it somewhat ties closely to like, give a guy a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach a guy how to fish and he'll eat for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some symbology close with those kind of sayings, but for the most part, I was like,
yeah,
I don't know, like that's a crazy philosophical conclusion to come to, like 2 seconds after you see all your dead robot children.
Yeah,
fake robot children.
That's what I was going to say.
Those books that we got you are hitting a little too hard.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the character Pascal quite a bit, but I felt like it just wasn't dramatic enough, or like I needed a cutscene or something, and instead it was like just text boxes asking you to do this, and then you do it, and then it's over.
I feel like it would have been better if we had more cutscenes or time where Pascal was teaching, like actually teaching philosophy and psychology and like all these different concepts to these robot children. But instead it's like, oh yeah, I taught them what fear means to try and keep them safe. I guess it made them kill themselves.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. Well, that was a whole lot of, that's a heavy package quickly delivered.
What about that little section where you take control of Pascal and the Goliath, and then it's like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots thing?
I thought it was pretty stupid.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
It felt like more like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit here and mash this button while it moves at half a mile an hour.
Yeah, I thought it was like the visuals of it were cool and like the epicness of the moment. I saw Frost complaining a lot about how it drew him out of the world to suddenly switch characters to Pascal, which I can kind of get, but it seemed like a bit of a weird hill to die on. Like,
I didn't have any problems, like character wise, like taking me out of the world, but the actual mechanics of playing it, I wasn't a huge fan of.
What about that section where you're controlling virus-ridden 2B and you have to like cross the whole fucking city?
That sucked.
Oh my
that
God.
sucked.
Yeah,
I died a lot.
Yeah, and there's
It pissed me
a
off.
hidden ending somewhere in that, so I had to do it like twice. So, but then I think the actual 2B death though, that was a better scene. Like that was actually landed for the most part for me.
Yes, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
The only thing was, I told Jay this. I was spoiled I knew 2B was going to die before we ever stopped playing, because I accidentally was spoiled on that, trying to figure out how to separate the club. So I wish I hadn't known that, because I feel like it would have hit me harder if I did not know that was going to happen.
Yeah, what's crazy is like whenever I first saw this, I was like, well, what's death to an android? Like what? I mean, 2B's died. We've seen 2B die technically. Like they blew up their black boxes like multiple times.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering like, why is this so different? But then I was like, oh yeah, command is down. Like is over
so she
run
can't
by
be
the
backed
virus.
up or recreated or anything.
The servers over there is not doing too hot.
Speaking of that, did you guys feel anything for like? I mean, I thought the bunker explosion stuff was cool, but like the commander wasn't enough of a character for me to really give too much of a flying fuck about that.
I didn't care.
I didn't care too much either. Part of me was like, well, good riddance. The whole thing's a scam. See ya. And I feel like we were like supposed to feel more, especially for like the commander.
Yeah.
Because 2B was obviously very disturbed by it. But I was like,
right.
Like we learned from like this last section that they've been lying this whole time to all the androids.
Yeah.
So like,
I would say overall the character development in this game is not great. A lot of it feels like rushed or forced.
yeah.
But we haven't heard much from you, Rich. You want to give some thoughts just about this section?
Like I said, this isn't not my cup of tea of a game. The story
I find it interesting because that wasn't what you were saying a couple weeks ago.
It's, I don't know, the multiple ending piece of it really draws me out of it. I'm one of those old ones of, I like the story from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't need multiple endings or things like that. It's just kind of like, okay, what's happening? Okay, now I gotta play as this character. Like, no, just go.
The amount of times I've seen credits in this game annoys the crap out of me. It's like, why are there 26 endings? Why do you do this?
I know I already complained about it, but I hate the secret endings. They feel pointless.
How is like the ending of Route A and Route B an ending. That's not an ending.
Yeah.
That's not an ending. No reason to show credits. That's just like midway through the story.
Right.
Yeah.
What were
So
you
that's
gonna
what's
say, Rich?
taking me out of it.
Okay.
So that's what's taking me out of the whole thing. I mean, it's still a good game. Like I think it's been done really well, but it's just taking me out of the story.
I can get that.
So I don't know.
So we'll see how this all wraps up. But I feel like the story has just been middling at best so far for me. But the game is fun, and it's fun to play, so that saves it a lot in that regard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Any other general thoughts about this section? Anybody? Okay. We'll cover it in more detail
ready to
at the
finish it.
review. Yeah. I might do that today. I don't know.
It doesn't take long.
Yeah. So the listener feedback, we only got one because I didn't bother chasing down people this week for some reason. But it's from Frost, who infamously hates this game. So he was one of the ones that I think he went ahead and plowed through the rest weeks ago. So, but he says he's saving the bulk of his comments for the finale. WTF with everything. Just WTF. I'm half expecting for the end of the game to be someone waking up from a dream. This is a big planet, yet somehow they always end up in the same 3-mile radius. Well, I mean, it's kind of open world. I mean, I guess logistically, story-wise, I could see that being a complaint, but it doesn't bother me that much. He continues on. Even when evacuating the bunker and being chased by Yorha units from space, they still end up in the same city. Now we know how Cloud got all of Zack's memories. A2 is 2B's living legacy. I very much got that vibe as well when I saw that scene. And that's, Jay, I know you were confused what he meant by that when he said it before. But that's just like how Cloud basically became Zack when Zack died. Aside from the amusement part, none of the bosses have been particularly good or memorable, and he hates 9S more than ever, which is sad for me because 9S is my favorite character. I love 9S. I don't get why you could hate him. I did push him on that, and he said he's like FF13's Hope, but worse. And
Oh God,
Hope is my favorite character from FF13, so I just stopped arguing with him at that point. I was like, okay, we're not going to come to an agreement on this. So
I like 9S.
Yeah, he must be protected. I'm going to be interested to see where it goes. But yeah, thanks for the feedback, Frost. Despite your contrarian opinions, we enjoy having you around for the ride, at least. Okay, shall we, what's the word, dismiss the club?
yes.
Let's do it. That was Beautiful Rise, which is a remix of City Ruins Shade from Nier Automata by Rotaka on OC Remix. Continue on, Rich. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. So with the club dismissed, let's wrap up here. Scott, what's up next week?
Next week, we will actually be starting a review. I think it's going to probably be a 2-parter, but Rich and I, and maybe Corey, if he wants to, I doubt it, but we'll be reviewing Marvel's Spider-Man, which was a PS4 game that Rich recently finished. And I'm excited about that because I really like that game. As far as plugs go, please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or whatever your podcasting app may be. It's a great way to help the show, and it just gets us higher in the algorithm, helps more people find us. We can get some more club participants maybe. It's always good to grow the community. So please do that. Another way you can help the show is Patreon, as Jay mentioned at the top. There's lots of great benefits: early episode access, ad-free episodes, aftercasts, extra reviews, RPG Club nominations and voting coming up, and more. And the higher level patrons get to do hastes, which controls what games we play next on the list. So find out more about that all over at patreon.com/RPGafteryears.
So another way you can support us is to watch our Twitch streams. We are streaming every Sunday, usually around 9 a.m. Eastern time, whenever our schedules are normal. You can find that at twitch.tv/RPGafteryears.
And totally just everything freaked out on my computer screen, just lost it. But merch store on Redbubble, redbubble.com/people/RPG Afteryears/explore. If you're in the stream right now, you can actually see some of our lovely merchandise on Scott.
Yes, this is a new shirt. Corey got this for me for Christmas. It's a long sleeve. It's very nice and comfy. I'm happy.
Yes. We got a lot of good stuff on there. So you can also email the show with any different comments, concerns, different episode ideas for us at rpgafteryears@gmail.com.
And if you want to be more involved with us, you want to chat with us, talk with us, argue with us, whatever you want to do, get some tacos, get some crabs, you can find us over on our Discord. The link can be found in the show notes or on our pinned tweet on Twitter.
Speaking of Twitter, it's another great way to get in touch with us. The show can be found at RPG Years, and you can find me at The Scott Spot.
You can find me at JAYDHizzle.
You can find me at HaleBlue1569.
And if you'd like to get in touch with Bill, he can be found at Matunica with 2 N's.
All right, that will do it for us this week. I hope everyone had a great New Year's. I'm excited for the new year and what the RPGs will bring for us with a lot of great new things. I hope you all are as well. Again, less fishing and photos and more stories. Till next time, I'm Rich.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Jay.
Bye.
Bye.
Hasta la vista.
In silent protagonists.